Bonjour, hello everyone. I hope you're all doing well. So today I'm back with another video for you, and today I'm going to be demonstrating how to do reflexology on yourself, on your feet, to help relieve and prevent panic attacks. So this is something I've been working on with clients for over 20 years, and it's probably one of the most common problems that people come into my practice with is anxiety. And anxiety can come in lots of different forms. But today we're going to be concentrating specifically on panic attacks. So a panic attack is when your anxiety gets to such a point in your mind that it has a profound physical effect on your breathing, your ability to think straight and to basically function. And when all this comes to a head, a panic attack ultimately makes you feel like you're going to die. The worst thing you can think of with a panic attack is that it's not going to get better, but it can. There are so many things that you have at your grasp and your disposal every day within yourself to be able to prevent panic attacks taking over your life. I'm going to be showing you something that worked for me and something that has worked for so many of my clients that I am desperate to share it with you too. Please remember that when you're overcoming something that has manifested to a level where it's having such a profound effect on you, it's not going to happen overnight. Even if you were taking medication, the first thing I'm going to go through is some reflexology points that you can do on yourself. This is really going to help people specifically whose panic attacks manifest with fast breathing, feeling out of control, palpitations, dizziness, sometimes that numbness that comes down your face, feeling like you can't feel your hands, feeling like you might have a stroke or a heart attack, feeling like you can't breathe and you're going to choke. So that sensation where your throat is closing and you feel like you can't breathe. This routine is so good for anyone who is having any panic attack that feels like that. So how does it work? So reflexology works on the principle that parts of the feet correspond with parts of the body. So in terms of how reflexology and touch therapies work in reducing anxiety, well, skin-to-skin contact itself releases endorphins into the body. This in turn helps kick in those happy hormones and reduces cortisol levels, which is the nasty stuff that runs around our body, making us feel really crap when we've got anxiety. It's balancing the body, balancing the cortisol levels, calming down the adrenaline and calming down the breathing. I would recommend doing this routine at least a few times a week. Like I said, nothing's a one treatment wonder. It's not going to work overnight. However, you may feel instantly that your heart rate has slowed down, that you feel more focused or more in control. But if you don't worry, it does take time. And please wait for the end of this video as well if you want to hear more tips and suggestions on other ways to control a panic attack when you're out and about, or if you're in work, or if you feel that it's coming on and you want to be able to do something immediately. So we're going to be talking about breathing, we're going to be talking about self-talk and just little tips and tricks that you can do to make yourself feel more in control or more soothed. So I hope you enjoy the video and I hope it helps. Please let me know how you get on and I'll see you all again soon.
So before we start, we're going to make sure that we've got some oil or some foot cream on our hands, and we're going to warm up the foot and just get the circulation going. So we're going to lightly massage the foot, make sure any dry areas are well moisturised. So if you're working on someone else, you can still follow this same routine. And if you're working on yourself, just make sure you're in a really comfortable position before you start. So to start with, we're going to locate just underneath the ball of the foot. So just at the top of the arch, and using your thumb, we're going to do a nice gentle little walk all the way across to the midpoint of the foot. We're now going to press quite firmly and hold for a few seconds and release. And we're going to do this a few times. This is the solar plexus point, which is your core, and it's somewhere we hold all our emotions. That feeling when your tummy goes over, if someone tells you something that worries you, that's the solar plexus. We're then carrying on that walk all the way along. Then this is the diaphragm. So you're going just underneath the ball of the foot, nice little caterpillar walk, right to that midpoint. We're pressing quite firm, holding and releasing a few times. And then we're walking back to the edge of the foot. And we're going to repeat that. So you can pause the video at any points where I recommend you repeat the technique. So next we're going to come back to that same starting point, just at the edge of the foot, underneath the ball. And we're going to go around the ball of the foot all the way up in kind of a semicircle all the way to the bottom edge of the big toe. Make sure your pressure is fairly firm, but it shouldn't be too painful. If you're working on someone else, just check in with them and check that the pressure feels okay. There's no hard fast rule how many times you repeat any of these techniques. I would say just do what feels right. This next technique is the spine, and the spine reflex goes all the way up where I'm pointing now. So from the bottom of the heel, you can almost see a shadow, sort of like a bend at the top where the arch lies, and then all the way up to the top, which is the neck. So again, you can use your thumb or your finger, whichever it feels more natural, and you're following that archway, that bend, all the way to the top. And this is a relaxing technique. It's of course much easier if you have someone to do these techniques on you, but if not, it is something you can do yourself. Just make sure you're in the most comfortable position. Next, we're going to be concentrating on the neck and head reflex. So we're going to start at the base of the big toe, and we're going to go up in one straight line to the edge, then up the middle, and then to the inner edge. swap over your fingers and thumbs to what's more comfortable for you. So the big toe has a lot of reflex points which are quite important. It's got the hormones, the hypothalamus, the pineal gland and the pituitary gland. You can repeat that motion of going up in 3 straight lines a couple of times. And now I'm pointing to where you'll notice the pad of your big toe comes to a little point. And you will see it, you'll know where to be. And you're going to be given that a very firm pressure circle. You might feel a slight pinprick or sharp nerve sort of pain, which means you are on the right spot. But don't worry if you don't feel that. And now we're going to the top of the toe and just stimulating the reflex points around the very top there to just go over any sort of toxins or congested areas you can feel. And you may feel this yourself here, that it feels a little bit gristly. Again, you can go over this several times and massage it out. Now we're locating the midpoint of the arch, underneath the arch. This is a really important point. So we're locating the mid-section of your arch, and then we're going to meet it by coming down from the middle point of your big toe in a straight line. You're going to meet the midpoint of the arch, and that's the spot that you want to be on, and that's the adrenals. So this is really important to balance the adrenaline in your body, which is so vital in preventing and managing anxiety. We're going to give some really firm pressure circles here, and we're also going to press in for a few seconds. Although this is a really important point, be careful not to overwork this point the first few times that you try the reflexology, because we just want to make sure that it's balancing rather than overworking. You can finish by massaging that point and all around the inside of the arch. And you can repeat this. Now we're coming down from between the second and the third toe, and we're coming more or less along just up from the diaphragm point that we started on, and this is the heart reflex. As you can see, I've got my thumb pressing one side and my finger the other side, and we're going to do about 7 pressure circles on that point.
So I hope you all enjoyed the video. In terms of other things that you can do to complement the reflexology, the most readily available thing that we've all got is our breath. So the first thing that you will notice physically that will happen to you when you're in a highly anxious state is your breathing will change. So your breathing will become really shallow and really rapid. And I don't know if you've noticed when you see a child and just about before they're about to cry, they'll start breathing really fast. And it is the first thing that the body will start to do when it's in sort of a really upset or panic mode. But by controlling that breathing, it tells the body that you are in control, that you are fine, and it regulates and balances all those other systems in the body. It is the most powerful thing that you can do in terms of relaxing and calming and controlling yourself. So the method I use for breathing, and this just doesn't go for panic attacks, this just goes for general anxiety every day. If you're an anxious person, I always say to any clients that struggle with anxiety, take yourself away from everything for a couple of minutes a day. Everyone can spare a couple of minutes, and take yourself aside somewhere and just do this breathing, just to reset your breathing. And most of you will already know this. But my technique, and I do it at the end of every reflexology session too. So it's breathe in for 4, hold for 8, and let go, breathe out for 8. And it's from the stomach. Just be aware of breathing from the stomach. No one has to know you're doing it. You don't have to be loud breathing. But it is something that you will notice if you're going dizzy and you feel like you're out of control. The breathing, within a few rounds of breathing, you will notice that dizziness will lift and you will feel more in control. And the third one is a really super easy one. So we've all heard of the grounding techniques of the senses. So by grounding, I mean when you're super anxious or feeling like you're in a panicked state, you kind of detach yourself a little bit from reality. And by grounding yourself, you become more focused and in control, and hence a lot of those really profound anxiety symptoms are reduced. So people use them with phobias when they're flying and things like that, and it's all about homing in back to yourself on your senses. So looking around and telling yourself 3 things you can see, then 3 things you can hear, 3 things you can feel. So you might feel the material on your trousers, then you might feel the skin on your arm, you might feel your hair, and it's just about stimulating your senses so that you sort of come back to yourself. You can do it with scents. So you might have perfume on, or you might smell your jumper. So it's just bringing yourself back really and grounding yourself, and those can really work well for some people too. There are so many things that we can do that, you know, to ourselves really, that can reduce our anxiety. And I hope just these few things today do make a difference to you. And it might sound like nothing, and you might feel like you're too bad for any of this, but never doubt yourself. If you can take yourself up to being that anxious, you can take yourself back down. And once you have beaten it, it'll never get you quite the same again. You know, once you've got those tools and you've got that toolkit there, it already makes you feel so empowered that when anxiety does start to creep in, it doesn't have that same fear with it that it had initially. So I hope this helps, and please let me know how you get on. And if you like these videos and if they're helping you in any way, please don't forget to subscribe and click the bell for notifications. I am aiming to put one out every two weeks. So hopefully I'll see you all soon. Have a great day.